Guess what? Whole new unit. Ow. I just hit my elbow on this thing on the chair. Okay. So, we just finished prehistory. Mesopotamia is next. Okay. This is kind of a big unit. Sorry. Mesopotamia is this right here. The Middle East. Okay. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands, I don't know, of different peoples that live in there. Not today, but back then. Well, I don't know about today. Whatever. But we're dealing with several, kind of all in one unit. Okie dokie. This is a little bit of a pain in the butt unit because you do have to keep each group separate. They all trade with each other, they all fight with each other. The name of the game is who can get the biggest empire, but you do need to know which one's which, and that's where things get a little bit hard. Sorry. Upper level history. So, we will deal first with what the heck is the Fertile Crescent. Then, I feel like this looks weird. Does this look weird, y'all? I knew it. I knew it was weird. There we go. Okay, now we're good. It was like, okay. It was like a line and a half and something was weird. Okay, so we will deal first with what in the world is this thing? What is it? Then we will talk about the city-state of, the civilizations of Sumeria. Right here, Sumeria. Then we'll take over Sumeria and we will deal with Akkadia, wherever Akkadia is. Here it is. It lasts for like 2 seconds. And then it gets taken over. It gets taken over by Babylonia. And then they get taken over by the Hittites. And then you guessed it, they get taken over by Assyria. And then they get taken over by, that's a lie. No, they don't. The Phoenicians don't take over anybody. We just have to talk about them. And then we'll deal with the Hebrews, or you might call them the Jews, or you might know them as the Israelites. It's all the same people group. Then, where'd my thing go? There it is. Then we will take over everybody with the Persians. Then we will take a detour to Egypt. Okay, so that's kind of what we're doing in this unit. Okay, look at the word Mesopotamia. It's one of your vocab words. Mesopotamia. This prefix right here, meso, means middle. We will have Mesoamerica later. Mesoamerica means middle. I'm like not facing the light. And my hair is putting me in a shadow. Hold on. Okay. So I turned my thing around. I don't know if it's a lot better. Did you notice I'm in a different place? Okay. Oh no, it might be okay. No. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter since my lights are always off in class anyway. You're used to seeing me all shadowed, so we're good. Okay, so Mesopotamia. The word meso means middle, okay? Mesopotamia is technically the land between the rivers. What rivers? Well, the rivers we looked at yesterday in class. The Tigris up here in the north, and the Euphrates down here in the south. If you want to get real specific, Mesopotamia is just this. That's it. Although I will tell you, everybody and their dog is going to refer to Mesopotamia meaning the entire Middle East, okay? But specifically, it means the land between the two rivers, all right? That being said, these two rivers are big rivers. They're pretty big. You're going to have fertile land outside of the rivers too. Yeah? So, this entire thing that you see is green, the whole thing, is called the Fertile Crescent. Because right in the middle of all this desert, there's fertile land, and it is really fertile land. Really, really, really good. Okay? But it's right in the middle of this big thing. So, most people will use the terms Fertile Crescent and Mesopotamia interchangeably. Technically, that's not accurate. Technically, Mesopotamia is the land between the rivers, and the Fertile Crescent is the whole thing. But I'll kind of refer to it as the whole thing as well. Because we do have to deal with the Phoenicians, who aren't actually, I'm too far north. The Phoenicians, who actually aren't in Mesopotamia, but they trade with them, so we're going to deal with them. We have to deal with the Hebrews down here, who aren't in Mesopotamia, but they matter. They come from here. We have to deal with the Hittites, who start out up here, but then take over everybody. We have to start out with we have to deal with the Assyrians, who start out up here, but then take over everybody. We have to start out over here with the Persians, who aren't part of Mesopotamia, but take over everybody. Are you noticing a pattern? Okay. So, Meso means middle, the land between the two rivers. The Fertile Crescent is everything that goes around it. I guess somebody at some point thought this looked like a crescent. Like a crescent roll, like a croissant, like a crescent moon. I don't know. I don't see it, but whatever. Okay. As far as how this area is ruled, at this point, at first, let me not say at this point. At first, there's no like kings. I'm gonna move this little desk a little bit. I'm higher in this chair than I was in the other chair I was sitting in the other day. There we go. Sea beso. Okay, so, oh yeah. At this point, there aren't any kings. Originally, when things first start out and the civilizations first pop up, you have a bunch of city-states. A city-state is not the same as a city. A city-state acts like its own kingdom, but it's just a city. It's like its own country, but it's just a city. It's totally separate from other city-states, like the city-states of Sumeria. Sumeria. Okay, listen. I have kids ask, oops. This is not the same as Samaria in the Bible. You have stories in the Bible where Jesus talks to the Samaritan woman at the well. That's a place over here. Samaria, S-A. This is Sumeria, S-U. They are different. Okay, and I do have kids ask. Okay, look. Sumeria starts over here. Okay, it's the oldest civilization in this area that we know of for sure. Okay, the very first one was the city-state of Ur. Ur. U-R. How'd you like that to be your city? I'm from Ur. Then we have Uruk, Eridu, Lagash, and there's another one. There's 5. There are 5. Dang, I can't think of it. I'm surprised it's not on this map. Doesn't really matter, but I'd like to be able to remember it. What did I leave out? Kish. Is that what's left out? Well, wait. And Uma. So there's 6? What? Uruk, Kish, Lagash, Uma, and Uruk, Lagash. Oh, Eridu. Uma. Same thing. Different spelling, different whatever. We're good. We're good. So I left out Kish. Well, Kish is left out of here. That's okay. It doesn't really matter. But I needed to know. I was like, wait a minute, what's wrong? Okay, sorry. Okay, so anyway, we have these 5 city-states. Okay, Uruk, Lagash, Eridu, and Kish. Okay, these 5 city-states, they're all Sumerian people. They all speak the same basic language. They all have the same basic writing system. They all have the same basic beliefs, religion. They're the same people group, but their cities are totally separate. Their leaders are going to come up with their own separate laws. They won't have a king of Sumeria. There's the king of Lagash, the king of Uruk, the king of the king of Eridu, okay? And they come up with their own laws. The same laws are not the same in as Uruk. The cost of a loaf of bread isn't the same. In Eridu, it might be, I don't know, 5 tomatoes is a loaf of bread. In Lagash, it might cost 10 tomatoes. They're not the same group of people. They're totally separate and they live separately. Okay? From what we can tell, historically speaking, we think the Sumerians down here, these little city states down here, we think that the Sumerians were fairly peaceful as a people. We haven't found armor and weapons. There's tools and stuff for hunting animals and that kind of thing, but not for fighting each other. They're not fighting each other. Overall, they're a fairly peaceful group of people. That's great. They're also going to get nailed quickly. So they do have cities. Yeah. They do have institutions because they have governments. Yeah. They do have technology. We think that the wheel was invented there and the sailboat, except it's a square sailboat. I draw this for you in class. Okay, water. That's water, yeah. Your sailboat. And then here. They don't have like that kind of sailboat yet. Okay. Right now, it's a square sailboat. There we go. And for the most part, it is animal hides, so it doesn't work great. And these are really, really shallow and really, really small boats. It's just for going up and down the Euphrates River. Like if you look here, these boats are just going up and down here. So for the most part, these city-states are all pretty separate from each other. They have their own separate thing. Now, like I said, the Sumerians, we know, did share basic religious beliefs, did share a basic language, and they did share the same type of writing. In other places, you'll see city-states that are even more divided. When we get to Greece, they're going to have, in some cases, different languages. The Dorian Greeks spoke a little bit different from the Messenian Greeks, and they spoke a little bit different from the Minoan Greeks. So they all speak a little bit different. In some cases, there will be slightly different religious beliefs, but for the most part, the Sumerians were a little bit more united. But they are not a united people at all. Okie dokie. And people tend to get a little bit confused about that. There is no king, there is no central government of all of Sumeria, and that's part of the problem. All right, they do also, here we go, have writing. Remember this? I almost showed some of y'all this the other day, and I was like, oh, that's in the wrong unit. What the heck? This right here is cuneiform. What is cuneiform? Writing. This is the Sumerian alphabet. Okay, listen. Most people didn't know cuneiform. In fact, typically in like one city, like in the city of Ur or Uruk or Eridu or whatever, you would have one or two people, maybe three tops, who knew how to read this. Chances are it wasn't the king. They're scribes. They write and they read and they write. Um, Most of the time going forward, your religious people, your priests or whatever, are going to also be those who are the most educated, who can read and write. Not the kings. Isn't that strange? You've seen in movies where kings will be like, write this letter for me, and they dictate a letter. They tell somebody what to write while somebody's typing or writing. Same type idea, okay? They can't read or write yet. It's not gonna be for a long time. But there were, it depends on the city, at least one. I mean, three scribes is a lot for this time period. And just look at this alphabet for a second. It's weird. It's a bunch of triangles and stuff. Lines, triangles. There's a reason. There's no paper yet. All of this is being chiseled into a rock tablet, all of it. So you've got some piece of rock and they're chiseling this in there. So it's what we call wedge shape writing, because they would stick this thing in and then pop it out and it forms these edges. When you see this in real life, it looks like this. Sumerian cuneiform. Kind of cool. Look at it for a second before I go away if you want to look at like what your name would look like. Look at the alphabet. I think it's cool just to kind of look and see what your name would look like. Okay, if you want to see longer, pause now because I'm going on. All right, this right here is a really famous Sumerian cuneiform tablet that was found. There's another piece too, but this is like the most famous piece. It's a book today. It's called the Epic of Gilgamesh. In fact, check this out. I can go to Amazon. You can see what I've been buying. I've been buying little doggy clothes. Look, it came up. I mean, you mean it's a popular book? Yeah. It's look, see, it's like 9 books, paperback. It's like maybe 60 pages. I have it. If I remember, I might have taken it to class. I don't know. But anyway, it's cool. It's written way back then. It's like the oldest book ever. Except for religious texts. Obviously, religious texts are going to be older than that. We get that. But what the heck? Here we go. But that right there is the book, the Epic of Gilgamesh. It's one of the rocks, one of the tablets, but it's all like carved in. And you see, like over here, we don't know what it says over here. Some stuff, of course, had to be kind of added. It's about Gilgamesh, who is he's like a demigod and like a king. Oh, that leads me to something that I'll get to in a minute. But he's a demigod and a king, and he doesn't want to die. So he's kind of like Herculean in that he's trying to do all this stuff to stay alive. And I'm like totally ruining the book for you because I think you'll read it. Well, I don't know. I think I read it in college. I don't think you'll read it in high school. I don't think. It's short though, so even if you do read it, it's no big deal. And it's fun. And it also talks about a great flood, which is interesting because China also writes about a great flood. The Hebrews write about a great flood. There are several groups that write about a great flood, which is kind of interesting. But anyway, it talks about all this cool stuff. It's a fun book if you like that sort of thing. Okay. The Sumerian religion. Where is it? Here it is. The Sumerian religion. You should have learned about this last year. You have two basic types of religion: monotheistic and polytheistic. Mono meaning one, poly meaning many. When in doubt, the answer is going to be polytheistic, especially in this unit. Every single early civilization is polytheistic, except the Hebrews. Everybody except the Jews. You're like, no, Islam. Yeah, that's in the 600s AD. We're not there. We're in BC. Well, Christianity, 29 AD. We're not there. Every single in this unit, the answer is, oh, I said that weird. Every single religion in this unit, the answer is polytheistic, except the Hebrews, except the Jews. Everybody, more than one God, except who? The Jews, or the Hebrews, or the Israelites, whatever you want to call them. Okay, that's up to you. So, polytheistic, more than one God. Most of these early religions are animistic. There it is. I wasn't sure if I put it in there. Animism is where you are worshiping nature and animals. It should be easy to remember. Animism, animals, but you're also worshiping nature too. Okay, so sun god, that's animistic. If you are worshiping trees, or you have seen Pocahontas where she sings that song about, I don't know what the song is, whatever that song is about animistic beliefs, the colors of something, right? Am I making this up? Right? I'm not making this up, am I? Pocahontas song. Colors of the Wind. That's it. Yeah, Colors of the Wind. I haven't even seen that movie. Okay, but I know what it is. Okay, so anyway, they all basically worship the same type things. The sun god, the wind, no surprise, right? Especially the Sumerian religions. The Sumerian city states, they all worship the Great Mother. The Great Mother. Later, in Latin, they'll refer to it as the Magna Mater, the Great Mother. Familiar? The Great Mother. She gives life, she gives birth. We could easily I don't know if I should put in Magna Mater. Sabella. Sabella, look, Anatolian mother goddess. You're like, okay, so Anatolia. You're like, yeah, but miss, that's not Sumeria. Guys, the Hittites take over the Sumerians. Sumerian culture and technology was so awesome, which we're getting to. They weren't destroyed when they were taken over. They were absorbed. All these other people groups liked Sumerian culture. The Sumerians worshipped Sabella, great Magna. Just kidding. The great mother. There we go. The Magna Mater. Life, giving birth, life. It's interesting that an early patriarchal people, patriarchal means man is in charge, have one of their highest gods as a goddess. kind of interesting. Kind of cool. Okay. You will see this again. It's coming back. The ziggurat is not going away. Zig a rot. Ziggurat. Ziggurat's a big temple. Except it kind of should remind you of an Egyptian pyramid, but it's not the same thing. It's called a step pyramid or a step temple. Looks like this. It is a pyramid ish. Step pyramid. Not because of the steps. That's not why it's called a step pyramid. Although you do go up a million steps to get up there. It's called a step pyramid because of the walls. Step, step. Yes. The Sumerians did a lot of things in here. This is kind of a one-stop shop building. Okay, what I mean by that is this. Cuneiform tablets, like stone tablets that they would write on, a lot of them were down here in the bottom, what is that? The bottom level of the temple. Worship could occur in the bottom level of the temple. Here in one of the levels, I don't remember which one, but in one of the second or the third level is where the king lives, the king of the town. Remember, we do not have one king over everything in Sumeria. We have one king in charge of each town. Okay. And I don't remember which one. I don't remember if they get the second level or if they get the third level. But whichever one they get, the priests get the other level. Okay. A lot of the priests did something interesting. They castrated themselves. Okay, only the priests. And do you understand castration? Be mature. It's like when you fix a dog, they can't have kids. Boys, you lose your testicles. Or girls, just so you know that too. Castration is not where you have like nothing going on down there. You still can use the restroom and everything. You just don't have testicles. And interestingly enough, the Sumerian priests castrated themselves. We think to be more like the Great Mother. Okay, they didn't think that they would become a woman when they did this, but it was like a sacrifice that they were making to the Great Mother. That being said, these right here, they were made of, just the rock and stuff around. So there are still some left today, but most of them, like their tops are missing. This one right here, I don't remember where I stole this picture from. This is either one of them that's in Iraq, there's a famous one, or there's one, well, is none of the Iraq today? I don't know. It is. So maybe that is the one I was thinking of. I'm almost positive that this picture comes from Iraq today. But you see here, you can see the steps to get up really well. Yeah. But you see the top is eroded off. It's not that it like got blown off or anything. It's eroded off. And yes, these are people up here. I think they look like military. Well, I don't know. Or maybe, no, I don't know. I think those look like vests, but I don't know. But you can see people, so you can kind of get size. Okay. Kind of cool. So there are still some left, not a whole lot. Um, oh, see. Oh, that says it's an See, I wouldn't have even known that. Good to know. That's an So there's another one though that's a big famous one. It's in Nineveh, which is Iraq today. That's what I was double checking. Oh, looky here. Oh, Iraq. I wonder if I'm thinking the same one. I'm not sure, honestly. That's what's left of one of them. It's crazy. Elam. There's what's left. See, to the untrained eye, I think they're going to look like a mountain. I don't know how you say this, but that says Iran. One of them. Oh, okay, now we're getting into. Oh, that's one of the names that I know. So that's what it's called outside of Talil. Anyway, does this remind you of anything other than Egyptian? If not, that's okay. You'll learn. If so, what? Hmm. Maybe Aztec or Mayan ruins? Think? Hmm. We'll talk about that more later. So they have these really cool things, right? And like technologically speaking, Sumeria, Sumeria is doing really well. Did I not put their technology? Here we go. I'll go back to government. Just hold on. Technologically speaking, they're doing really well. Again, we know that they have the wheel. We know that they did that sailboat with the like square sail. We know that they have invented a plow to get like to turn soil and to get seeds in soil better. It's pulled by pigs, but that's okay. You got to start somewhere. So, pottery wheels. So they're doing pretty good technologically speaking. Their culture is way up there in their government. Okay, this is something else, guys. It is not going away all year long. Theocracy all year long. In fact, most often, this is the kind of government that we will be dealing with. Theocratic monarchies. Okay, let's look at a theocracy first. This right here, this piece of the word theocracy, theos, means God. My baby girl's sleeping. She had to move around. Theos means God. Cracy, democracy, okay, government. So a theocracy is a government backed by God. What? That means God gives you the authority to rule. Guys, I'm not playing. We're coming back to this all year long. All year. Originally in Sumeria, priests were in charge. Originally, when the civilization was first created, in actuality, the religion came first, and the priests ran the city. The priests came up with the laws. The priests did it. They were in charge, and people would be like, "Why are you in charge?" The Great Mother wishes it. How do you know? Young man, you don't hear the Great Mother speak to you? No, am I supposed to? Yes. Oh, what do I do to have her speak to me? You gotta follow her laws. Oh, okay, got it. What you say go, sir. Um, Theocracies, they're not going away. We, America, we're the weird ones who separated church and state. Nobody ever in history separated church and state. We're the different ones. To us, it's weird to have like a religious figure in charge of the country too, but see, that's normal everywhere else. It's so strange to us, but it's normal everywhere else. And pretty quickly, what's going to end up coming is a theocratic monarchy. Okay, we have two different types of governments that we're actually piecing together. What is happening here? Look at this. What the heck is this? Stay on your side, please. Anyway, we have two different types of governments that we're kind of squishing together to create a new theme. So a theocracy is where whoever's in charge is in charge because God said so, or in this case, the gods said so. Okay? Monarchy is where you have a king or queen and it's hereditary rule. Guys, you have to have hereditary rule. If the next king, it's not hereditary or based on family, is it a monarchy? Now, can you run out of people in your family? Yes. But a monarchy is always going to be hereditary rule. Okay. So, what we have happen with a theocratic monarchy is you have one guy in charge. He says, I'm in charge, and my kid is going to follow me. Monarchy. And everybody looks at this guy and says, who says you get to lead? The sun god, Magna Mater, the moon, whatever it is we worship. You're backed by the gods and goddesses, but you're also a king. Again, this year, when in doubt, if I ask you what is the most, I don't know, widely used government in history, the answer is theocratic monarchy. You're going to see that over and over and over. Guys, we have an entire unit coming in February-ish that is absolutism. February. Guys, we're in August or maybe September. I don't know. I know you're like, you don't know. I'm recording these. Look down here. It's July. Okay. So, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, yeah. In February, we're going to have an entire unit called absolutism, which is all about kings declaring this right here. God said I could be king, so what I say goes. It's not going away. This is not going away. Theocratic monarchy, one man rules, okay? Oh, hereditarily speaking. And he gets his power from the gods, goddesses, from the religion backing him. It's not going away. Now look. We have our happy little map, yeah? And Sumeria is down here. We have a city that is a little bit of a problem for us today as historians because we don't really know where she is. You're like, how do you not know where this city is? Well, on here, there's even a question mark, which is kind of interesting. They put a question mark. The city is called Akkad. 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 That should, ding, 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 remind you of something in your vocab from yesterday. Akkad. We do know that Akkad was like a tent city, okay? And we do know that they moved around a little bit. They do have civilization, okay? They do have a civilization, but they're not in one place. They have a tent city. They pick up and move a little bit. We know that they're close to Babylon because they had a lot of issues with Babylon. I'll get there, I promise, okay? But we have a guy, the king of Akkad. His name, wrong thing, his name is Sargon. Sargon of Akkad. That's a statue, mask, whatever of him. Okay, it's bronze. It's broken in the eyeball. It's not like that's his eye. It's broken. Just a bronze statue or mask. Sorry. Sargon of Akkad sees one of the cities in Sumeria. He's like, wow, look at these giant buildings, these ziggurats. Wow, they have wheels. Whoa, look at this building. Oh, I forgot to tell you, they have mud dried brick for buildings, adobe type buildings or houses. He's like, wow, they don't have to pick up their house and move it. It's an adobe building. Amazing. Man, I want to live here. But if I live here, I'm no longer king of Akkad. What am I going to do? Well, just take it. The name of the game is empire building, guys. Sargon of Akkad sweeps in. I don't know which city first. I don't know. I don't care. Sweeps in to one of these Sumerian cities. Maybe Uruk, Lagash, or I don't know. He sweeps into one of these cities and nails them and takes over in a heartbeat. He then moves to the next one, nails them, takes over in a heartbeat. He takes them all over very, very quickly. The Sumerians don't really put up much fight. One of the other reasons that we think Sumeria was a fairly peaceful people is we haven't found weapons or armor from them before Sargon took them over. All the weapons and armor come from after he took them over. Okay, listen. A king owns one kingdom. One kingdom. Once a king takes over something else, he's no longer a king. He's now an emperor. An empire is when you have several kingdoms all under one ruler. An emperor used to be a king, but he took over something else. If I'm the king of England and I want to be an emperor, I got to take over something. Okay, so I go and take over whoever's weakest to me. Well, in the medieval period, they look at Scotland, they take over. Technically, England is an emperor to Scotland. You're like, what? Mm-hmm. So technically, the Queen of England, empress. You're like, no, even still today? It just doesn't look good. Today, we look at emperor as very like, taking over, not cool, man. But yeah, if you go take over something, technically you get to be called an emperor. Now, there were a whole lot of people throughout history, like especially in Rome, who a lot of rulers who called themselves emperors, and technically they weren't. Just because daddy is an emperor doesn't mean you are. Technically, you have to take over something too. I mean, they're still going to call themselves emperors. Just know technically they don't really get that, but whatever. I mean, whatever. So that being said, Sargon of Akkad goes in, takes over Sumeria. Sumeria is gone. And now we have the Empire of Akkadia, which includes the Sumerian city states plus wherever the city of Akkad is. It is not Babylon. Akkadia does not conquer Babylon, and that matters. Babylon's a little bit of a beast. You're not conquering it. But Sargon owns Akkad and down here, Sumeria. Sargon liked Sumeria, though. He doesn't destroy it. He keeps the culture. He even adopts some of their language, some of their letters into Akkadian cuneiform. Oops, sorry. Here's some Akkadian cuneiform. Oh, I can't make this picture bigger. Oh, sorry. You still have the weird, like, whatever they are, triangles and stuff. And kids always are like, Miss, you're just showing us the same thing. No, I'm not. Pause it, go back and look, and then come back. I'm not. It's different, I promise. But he is going to adopt some of their stuff, so he will copy some of it. That being said, just kidding. I thought I had a picture of Akkadian and a rock. Guess I don't. Although I'm pretty sure this copy that we have, I'm pretty sure this is Akkadian. Even though I have it under Babylon, you'll understand why when we get there. I'm pretty sure that this copy of this is actually an Akkadian cuneiform, but I could be wrong, but I think so. So this would be what Akkadian looks like in a rock. And you'll understand why I have that with Babylon. We're getting there. So anyway, Sargon doesn't destroy Sumeria. He adopts some. Now, he does kill the people in charge. Okay, listen. Empire Building 101. You can not take over a kingdom and keep the king alive. You cannot take over a kingdom and keep the king's kids alive. If you do, there's always going to be some remnant of people who hate you and they want the old king back. And they're always going to secretly kind of work with. If you leave the kid's 5-year-old son alive, they're going to put him back on the throne. And legally, he has rights to the throne. What if it's a baby? You got to kill him. You cannot leave an heir to the throne alive. Every time we see that, almost, it ends bad for the emperor because the kid's going to come up, rise up, take him over. You can't do that. You got to kill the family. Sorry. A lot of the time, the queen, the wife, will become the new queen to the new emperor. So the whole, like, a lot of the time the nobles get killed, the king, the king's family, the nobles, and in this case the Sumerian priests slaughtered. But you don't get rid of the culture unless you don't like the culture. But Sargon loved it, so he keeps it. After Sargon, though, his son's an idiot. Okay, listen. Something weird happens, and I can't explain this either, y'all. But historically speaking, we have this weird thing where you'll have a king who's really, really, really awesome, and then his son takes over and he's a moron. And then you'll have another king, really, really, really awesome, and then his son takes over and he's a moron. So it's weird, but like Sargon does this cool thing. He creates the first empire in history that we know of, and then his son takes over and he's an idiot. And he gets taken over. Oops. I wonder who takes over the Akkadian Empire. Hint, hint. Uh-oh. Where'd it go? Babylon. And we will deal with them next.